this is Kim with Fatty Patty Scrapper. Okay, so today I am going to start on my DT project with Country Craft Creations. This is going to be, I believe it's probably going to be close to a 9x9 album. And I'll tell you exactly why I kind of chose those measurements in a minute. And that's because I am using the 8x8 paper pad. And this is it. This is the 'Twas the Night Before Christmas Graphic45. And I'm actually going to give you the measurements. All this is going to be using 8.5 by 11 paper. And possibly, I don't know yet, I never know until I really get into it, the 6x6 'Twas the Night Before Christmas paper pad. I might use this for like some tags and stuff like that. So, not really sure yet, but I probably will definitely use that. Let me show you what else I'm going to be using. Most likely I will be using the chipboard. I will be using 1/8 inch score tape and 1/4 inch. And probably for the, I don't have the 3/8 inch, but if you wanted to use that, you could, use that for the binding or, putting the actual 8x8 papers down. I just didn't want to like crop any of the papers because they're so beautiful. And so that's why I'm making this album. Most likely it's going to be a 9x9. So, and I've already kind of set up, so let me explain something to you. This paper that I'm using is not sold in craft stores. This comes from a card stock warehouse in Richardson, Texas. And right now I can't come up with a name, but if any of y'all are interested, Tammy is I'm trying to help Tammy get into buying some of this paper. It's extremely high quality. It lasts more than 200 plus years or whatever. I mean, it's just really high quality paper. They come in stacks of 250, but she will offer it where you can buy it, 50 or 80 or 100 or, however many you want to do. I basically think she's going to sell it by the sheet. So, and the only reason why that is because if you ordered one color, you would get 250 sheets, and the shipping would cost a ton. So to me, I think it would be easier to do, like 50 of one color, 50 of another color, and so basically 50 of 5 different colors, and that way you have plenty of paper to work with for a while. Or you can just, pay individually for the stacks. But we'll try to figure out another way, or actually Tammy will, not me. Try to figure out another way to ship it to you that might be less costly. Oh my bad, I'm like having like a blank out. But anyway, these are the cardstock die cuts. I will probably using a couple of these too. And then we also have the 12x12 sheet of stickers, which she does sell that separately. So if you just want the 8x8 and you want, any one of these, you can basically just buy one or the other. Hold on, you need to go in there. Take that with you. Okay, so basically I started off with the 8 by, 8.5 by 11. So what I did was, and kind of like, I know you can probably see these little score lines, but this is what, do not score right here on these middle ones here. I'll tell you where to score at. I kind of wrote it down here for you. So taking the paper to the left and to the right or horizontally, you would score at the 1/2 inch line, and then you're going to score at the 9 inch line, and then you'll cut it at the 9.5 inch line. So if that kind of makes any sense. Let me see if you can see that. Okay. And you will need, if you want to do a 6-page album, you're going to need, obviously, 6 of these. And then, oh, you will fold these like this. Okay. And then on your other 6 sheets, so you're going to have 12 sheets all together. You're going to cut at the 8.5-inch line. So basically keep the paper horizontally. Oops, let me go back here. Horizontally, and then cut at the 8.5-inch line. And then that's all you need to do for that. I try to make this really simple so you're not having to do a whole lot of cutting. You know, I've watched some tutorials where you're like cutting all over the place and I'm like, ah! Okay, it's kind of psycho. No, I'm just kidding. It's really not. It's just, you know, that's how it is preferred for some people. For me, I don't want to do a whole lot of cutting. So basically, this is going to hold your I don't know what you call them. Why am I having a brain fart today? What's my problem? Basically your pull-out sheets, your mats. And so basically you're going to take your score tape. Well, let me show you this to you because I've already got it pre-cut. Notice how I have never done this before, because when I've bought tutorials where it's on a PDF file, they go page by page by page. And so I never know how many pages I need to cut and of what sizes and all that other stuff. So I've decided to make it a little simpler on everybody and basically do that ahead of time so that we all know what we need. Okay, so you're going to take your folded one and then your 8.5-inch. We're going to get our score tape and get that out. Where did I go with that? Where did I go, George? I often do not get the 3/8 inch only because I'm like, what did I just do with that? I often don't buy it because, well, basically I just don't need that size. So I don't really make books any larger than this. I have never made a 12 by 12. I know, isn't that sad? I just don't. But anywho, so you can basically, I go along the edge and then, you know, I come down. So you can use a 1/4 inch or however you want to do it. I just use the 1/8 inch and then go down it twice. Take my bone folder. You want to get it in there real good. And then if there's any excess, you can cut it off or, you know, tear it off, however you want to do it. But you really want to get as close to this line as you possibly can. So sometimes it's just easier to go over the edge and then cut it off later. That way it's completely sealed at the ends and you don't have to worry about gluing it later. So there. And I do not use a ATG gun. To me, they're like messy and they're heavy and large. So I just don't use those. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. Oh, and by the way, all your cuttings, save them, because a lot of times I will use them to make my tags extra thick. I don't like skinny tags. I like my tags to have some feeling. That's another reason why I order this specialty paper, because I really like heavy cardstock. So it really doesn't matter which way you go, because all of this is 8.5 by 8.5. So I'm gonna come over here, get it as close to the edge as possible without going over. And I'm gonna check that on the back and see how I did. So I know to scoot it back some. Make sure, yep. And then I just basically come along on this side and do the same thing. Line it up. If you can't see this, just let me know. So anywho, and then you just come along, and in case you went over, you can always come back in here with your bone folder and straighten it out. Okay, so now these two sides, I am not going to put any score tape on these. So this way you're able to fit your mat in there nice and properly. And then when we actually do attach it to, you'll attach it to the spine, okay? Or the inside of the spine, shall I say. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of these off camera, and then I will be right back. Good morning, y'all. Okay, so it got pretty late last night, and I realized that my brain just wasn't functioning anymore. So I decided, hold on, I'm gonna turn this so I can see y'all a little bit. Okay, or so I can see me. Okay, so anyway, I'm just gonna do a little recap on what I've done so far. Okay, so we have 12 8.5 by 11 sheets all together. The first sheet, or the first 6 sheets, okay, so you're gonna have 6 of these. I cut at the 8.5 inch line, okay? So you're gonna have an 8.5 by an 8.5. So this would be on your scoreboard on the right hand side at the 8.5 inch line. I know you're like, I already know this, but you know, for those of you who are just starting, you may not know what I'm talking about. Okay, so then you're gonna have 6 of these, okay, and don't ignore all these like little folds and these little score lines in here. When I decide that I'm gonna design something, I wanna make sure that I always have a 1/8 inch border, and so I wanna make sure that everything's gonna fit. So that's kind of like what I did here. So you're gonna have another 8.5 by 11 sheet. You are going to cut it at, you know, widthwise at the 9.5 inch side. Then I have my little score line measurements here. You're gonna score it at the 1/2 inch line, and then you're gonna fold it over. So like so, okay? And then I use my bone folder to go over that. Then you're going to cut at the 9.5, well, you're gonna cut at the 9.5 inch line, but you're gonna score at the 9 inch line. So that leaves a 1/2 inch on each side, and then you're gonna fold it over. Now, the reason why I did this is I was being lazy. You can do a fractions calculator, or if you're really good at math, which I am not, I'm gonna be honest with you, I suck at math. So, basically I took these two, folded, you know, I folded in half to get my center line. And at first I did it wrong. You know, I went like this, okay? Nope, that won't give you the true center. That gave me like 4 3/4 the other way. And this gave me, I don't know, maybe I did fold it like this and then I got it 4 1/4. But anyhow, your center line is 4 1/4. And the reason why I say that is you're gonna take a whatever punch you wanna use, but I'm using the circle punch, and then later on, I will use the, there's a scallop punch. And I happen to really like those too. If I had like a snowflake one that like only did the edges, that would be really cool. But I don't have one. So, hi guys, this is Kim with Fatty Patty Scrapper. This is actually take number 2 on this portion because apparently my video had ran out. So if I'm repeating myself, I do apologize, but I want to make sure that y'all get what I'm doing. Okay, so again, let me recap on this part. So basically you're gonna need, for right now, 12 sheets of 8.5 by 11, or you can cut it down or whatever you wanna do if you have 12 by 12. But for this colored paper, I chose kind of like this Sandy Beach Madero color. They don't sell this at Hobby Lobby. I got this from a cardstock store here in Dallas. So I just happen to really like them. They're really good quality and it lasts like, you know, 200 plus years. It's really, really good quality paper. But I can get it in stacks of 250. So I don't have to keep constantly running to the store to buy paper. So I prefer this over, you know, what I can get at Hobby Lobby and Michael's. Okay, so the first thing I would do is, let's see if I can get it where y'all can see. So this would be 8.5 by 11, and then you're gonna cut it down at the 8.5 line. So now we have 8.5 by 8.5. And so you're gonna do that for 6 sheets, okay? So 6 of those. And then on the next one, you're going to have the next 6 sheets you're going to cut at the 9.5 line. Then when you cut it at the 9.5 line, you're going to score it at, or you would actually, you know, you can do your scoring all at the same time, but that's what I usually do. So you would score it at the 9.5, score it at the 9-inch line. Oops, hold on. I have this backwards, my bad. Okay, so you're going to score at the 9.5. You're going to score at the 9-inch line. And then you're going to score at the 1/2-inch line. So that way you have a 1/2 inch fold, and this will be to hold your pockets. And so you're going to, you know, smooth this down with your bone folder, and that's what I normally do. Now, if you can see any of these little folds and stuff here that I have in the center, don't do that. I only do that when I know I'm fixing to make a book that I want to make sure that I have my 1/4 inch, or my 1/8 inch, excuse me, my 1/8 inch line going all the way around, and I want my picture in the center of that. Also, I kind of am lazy and did not figure out my I don't know what you want to call it, my score line for the center, because what I like to use is, and before you attach these together, I did not do this, and I was like, man, I wish I had. So basically, at the bottom of your hole punch, this is so that you can slide out your mats very easily if you haven't ever done this before. At the bottom of this, you're going to see like a little arrow, and this one happens to be Paper Studio. I don't know about other lines, but I do know that Paper Studio has this little line here that shows you where the middle of it is. Plus, they have it on the sides too. But what I like about this best is that it's clear, so I can see through to see exactly where I'm at if I'm lined up, you know, in the center. So that's what I love about it. So then you would take this, you would line it up at the 1/2 inch, and then I'm kind of squeezing down, not hard. Yep, it's pretty much almost, there we go, almost lined up. So now I have it right there in the center, and boom. So then you would take your score tape, and I use 1/8 inch, and I usually use 2 rows, but if you have 1/4 inch on you, which I do, I just mainly use that for, you know, my big mats. So, anywho, you would just, you know, put it down, and then of course, you know, smooth it down just to make sure that it adheres properly. And then you're going to line them up. Let me move this out of the way because these colors are kind of similar. You're going to line it up, and then there you go. You would smooth it down, and then again use your bone folder to make sure that both sides adhere properly. So now you're going to have a pocket. Okay, so this is your front page going from left to right, and then on the opposite side you're going to see your hole punch, and that's where you're going to slide out your thing. You could do it on both sides. I don't. I just do it on one side. So basically, in my other video I showed myself using the score tape, but now I've already put them all together, and sorry, I do apologize about that. But so now I have them all together. So they're like this, open on to the left and to the right, and then of course closed. And so if you can see in there, you might be able to see the little line there. But so I have basically 6 of these. So my book is going to be 6 pages, but in all reality, including the inside cover and the inside of the back cover, it would be 14 pages. So that's perfect. I like that. That's a good size. Sometimes I'll do 5, but I wanted to make it really even this time. And I'm not going to work on the cover yet. And the reason why is because I want to make sure that I need to get the measurements exactly right. I haven't decided on whether I want to make it 9" by 9" or if I'm going to do it 8 3/4 by 8 3/4. You definitely don't want too much space in between, because the book will start, you know, like eventually after time it's going to start trying to fall out, and so it'll you know, take a lot of weight on one side and just keep pulling at the binding. So you definitely don't want to do that. Okay, so moving on, and I did the measurements on this one for y'all too. This is going to be the first page of my inside cover. So what I'm going to do is, in my 8x8 pad, I'm going to pick out a pattern. Okay, a pattern page. I don't want anything like too much going on. If you have too much going on, then you're not going to see the design of what I have here. So I'm making a little 3-page book, and this does follow along with Kathy Champlain's doing, but I did not use the same measurements as her, and hers was a graduated and mine is not graduated. But so anyhow, I just want to let you know, you can always, you know, refer to one of her tutorials. She does PDF file tutorials, and so if you want, you can do that. Okay, so I knew that for my, let me see here. I'm delirious. I'm going to tell you the measurements in just a second if I can find my little cover. What did I do with it? Actually, on this one, I will show you the score tape and all that. Okay, so here's my cover page. My cover design. So basically, it's kind of like an accordion fold here, like you would do pretty much with any book. But the measurements for this are, and I wrote it down, this is a small book for inside cover, and I will have all of this listed under the description for the video so that you can pre-cut your stuff before you even start watching the video. So if you choose to do so. So for this, you're going to use a sheet of 12 by 12 paper. I used a cardstock that was a cream color. And so I cut it at the 11.5 inch. So let me see if I can show you. So like here. Oh, sorry, I don't have to like press this out, but it is 11.5. So I scored it here, and then when I turned it this way, I cut it at the 7 inch. Okay, so it's 11.5 inches long, or wide and 7 inches long. So if that makes any sense. I'm sorry, I'm kind of being retarded today. I don't know what my problem is. Okay, so let's see. Then you will score at the 4 5/8 inch, the 5 inch, 5 3/8, 5 3/4, 6, 6 3/8, and 6 3/4. So that will give you, and then you're going to fold them. And this will give you this little bungee cord little thing going on. So it'll look like this at first, but then I just flipped it over and then, you know, pushed the sides together. Then I took score tape, because I want the back of my book to be sealed. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to go and take it off, and then, you know, combine them together here. Okay, so I'm going to start off with this one. Make sure I don't have any hanging over, and I do not. I'm going to fold down on that. Oops, I do have a little bit hanging over, so I'm going to push that. I'm going to push this one down, and this one I did not do, so let me get out my tape. I'm going to do it on each side. You really do want to try to get it all the way down if you can. I just messed up and didn't do that, so I'm going to try to fix that. So then you're going to take your bone folder and really get it to it here and there and peel. And this one went hung over a little bit, so I'm going to push it back. This is hanging over a little bit too. I hate hangovers, they make me crazy. So, you know, always be careful of that or you're gonna have like stickiness going everywhere. And then of course you're gonna fold. That will leave you this. So now, this is my inside of the book. This is my outside of the book. Let me see what I cut these at. Okay, so these, the pages, I think it took me like 3 sheets to do this, if I remember correctly, of the 8.5 by 11. So you're gonna cut this at 7 by 4 and I'm gonna return right now. 4 and 5/8, I believe. Yeah. So 4 and 5/8. Sorry, I kind of cheat and I wrote all mine at the top because I can never remember. And now I depend on that. So isn't that quick, right? Okay, so then what I did, now since my book is going, here, let me do this part first. So hold on one second. You can go ahead and cut those, but I want to go ahead and adhere this. So you're going to take your score tape. And I usually go along all the corners. And I don't have an ATG gun, and I've heard that they get all tangled and twisted up anyway, so I don't want to mess with that. I mean, I don't know if it's true because I've never had one, so I don't know. But then I do a crisscross. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bone folder, and I'm really going to get that in there good. Peel it back. And I'm going to come along this side and do the same thing. Okay? And that's all you really need. I mean, you use more than that, you're just wasting tape. So use your bone folder again, and then because it went over, I'm going to fold it back. I'm going to fold it back beyond these lines here because I don't want it to turn into a hot mess. And oops, last one. Then I'm going to center this, and I just kind of eyeball it. You know, if you make a mistake, well, I guess you make a mistake. But I always try to just eyeball it. Oh, I forgot to mention this cardstock right here. This is textured, so I don't know if you can really see, but there is kind of a texture to it, and I just like that. This one I got at Office Depot, and it was like $8.99, but I still didn't get a lot of sheets at all. In fact, I mean, it was like the least amount of sheets I've ever seen. So then, I had some 12 by 12 extra pages of cardstock. So on one of them, let me see, excuse me, this was the Long Winter's Nap. And Tamara does sell extra sheets of this. So if you want a few extra sheets just to use for your, you know, cover page, etc., you know, this will really help because they're a little bit bigger than the 8 by 8, but it's not necessary to buy a 12 by 12 pad. Unless you want to do, you know, a 9 by 9 or an 8 by 8 or whatever the case may be. So I picked one of these images out. So I want my book to go. You know, so instead of going like this, I want it to be horizontal. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put the tape down on this and then attach that. If I can get to my... I apologize, guys. I sound so like crazy today, right? I guess my allergies are just bugging me. But I'm so excited with all the new subbies. I am just loving this. You know, I'm happy to get any questions. I love comments, you know, good or bad, you know, let me know. You think, I mean, I haven't been doing this that long, so if you think I'm doing something wrong, you know, help me. I'm just saying. That's one of my favorite things to say is I'm just saying. Just saying. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and pull these off. It's a little bit hard to do if you don't have long nails, but I have like a little bit of a nail here. Okay. Oh, and by the way, I did edge this with Tim Holtz. I think it's Red Barn, something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and somewhat center this. Not somewhat, I'm going to try the hardest I can to center it. So that I do not have to reattach. Okay. So now we have our cover page. Now it looks just like a card. Okay, so I also, let me give you the measurements for these little ones. Let me see here. I already pre-made two, so I'm going to show you with this one. So on this one, this is at 6.5 by 4 and I think it's 4 and what? 3/8. 4 and 3/8, not 4 and 5/8. My bad. So yes, 4 and 3/8. So the other one's like 4 and 5/8, I believe. Yeah. So you're gonna need 2 of those. And I mean, if you want to do the, like what I did was, is I knew the cover was going to be green. I wanted the inside to be green. I wanted the back to be green. Okay. And then I knew that I wanted this to be red, then green, then red. And so I've already adhered these, but basically I only did these 2 corners. Okay. So I want to be able to use this. It would just slide on like this. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to actually cut some of this at an angle, but it'll slide on like this, and then it'll of course fold over or whatever the case may be. But let me see this. Yeah, it's going to work. Okay. Just want to make sure before I sound cray. I wanted to be able to have pockets in here. So I thought, how neat, you could stick some like little Christmas cards in here or something that you've gotten from somebody, or little gift tags or whatever you want to do. But I'm going to make some mats for it, or some tags, probably tags. And then, so now, I'm sorry, you know what? I wanted to go the opposite way. My bad. That was the most important thing I was trying to tell you. So from here, I want my tags to pull out from the left, not to the right. Why? I don't know. Maybe I ought to think about that. But anyway, while I'm thinking about that, I'm going to go ahead and put this one together. I'm going to go all the way up to the edge, down. And then this, that's all you need. 2. Then I know I want this one on top, so I'm going to do this one. And this one. Okay. Phone folder, excuse me for my mess here. I'm going to peel it back. And peel it back. Oh my goodness, I just messed that up. Oh my goodness, guys, it happens to everybody. Okay, so I'm just gonna peel that off real quick. In fact, I really don't even need to do both sides. I usually just do one. I don't know why I just did two sides. Anyway, some people like to do two. I don't need to. Okay. So, I'm gonna line these up, make sure they're straight. Because if you don't, well, you're in for a whole lot of trouble. And then I just lay it flat. So now you have kind of like a little pocket going on here. Okay. Then I'm gonna go ahead and put the cover on. I might add some stickers in here or something like that, but I don't think I'm gonna get like crazy on these pages because I mean they're really for matting or journaling, so it's whatever you want to use it for. Actually, I would probably use these for the mats and then the inside tags, of course, the journaling. That's just me. And again, I'm going to fold this back because it's hanging over. And then I'm going to center it the best I can. Like I know it needs to be a little bit more over. There we go. And fold her. And then flip it over and do the same thing again. Now, in the meantime, you might want to think about like what do you want to have for your inside page to follow along with the design. Kind of have some in mind, and I'm going to show you what I have in mind, and then hopefully I'll finally come up with a definitive answer. Because right now I've been kind of like I don't know. I hate that. So. I wish like we were on chat and y'all could like tell me what you think, but we're not. Boo! YouTube needs to come up with some more stuff. Maybe they have it, but I don't know how to work it, so. I'm like, if you're gonna have all this technology, make it where people can use it. Just saying. Here I go again with my preaching. Okay, and then center it again and get all those corners nice and tight. Okay, so now we have our hook. So what do y'all think? Y'all think I should have the things coming out this way, or should I have them coming out that way? Maybe this way is easier. You're right. What was I thinking? I don't know. I never know what I'm thinking. That's the problem. I don't think half the time. Okay, so I'm gonna fold this over. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? Highlight. I'm gonna use my 1/4 inch for this one. I wanna make sure it's gonna stay. I'm going to tell you in a second, it's easier to tape it down first before you cut the corners. I will say that. So, just a little forewarning on that one. And you know what? Another thing I always suggest is that, you know, if you're really tired, I wouldn't work on a book, because that's when I make my most mistakes, is when I'm like really super sleepy. I will start screwing up, like, you know, thinking that I should have had my things coming out on the left side. I mean, that's crazy. What was I thinking? If I was left-handed, that probably would work. So that's just a thought. If you have any left-handed friends, let me grab my scissors and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. I got them. Alrighty then. So, you're going to take your scissors and you're going to nip off a little corner. Okay? Be careful not to nip off into the book. Okay? Because then your corner is going to be jacked. And it will rip apart. Just saying. I sound like a nut, right? Oh, I'm so sorry, so sorry. Okay. And it doesn't have, you don't have to be an exact scientist. Yeah, it's just clipping. Take your bone folder again. Make sure these are on really good, because the hinges are one of the most important things about making a book. Okay, so now, okay, I'm not doing the back page because this is actually going to be adhered to the book itself. So it will not come out, just to let y'all know. A lot of times I make them where you can like tie a bow tie, but I'm not doing that this time because I don't want to cover this up. It's so cute. So, all right, so here we go. Here goes nothing. I always start with the back. I don't know why, I just do. I remember I have it facing in the right direction, and I want my tags to come out on this side. So I know to basically, and I try to open up as wide as I can and push it up. And then push down. Make sure you you don't want to get too close where you can't fold the pages, but let me see if I can kind of show you real close up in like 2 seconds. So then I'm using my bone folder again to make sure that it's adhered. But as you can see, I left just the teeniest gap. Whoops, sorry, I know I'm retarded, I can't do this right ever. But there's like a teeny gap in there, so that you can still freely turn the pages. Because if you stick it too close to the inside of it, it's not going to move freely. So then I know I want my green one, so I'm going to go ahead and get that prepared right away this time, so I'm not having to fiddle with it. So I know I have that in the right direction. And then be careful not to fold back. You fold back, you're going to fold back on here. And then you're like, what did I just do? I can't get it off, it's stuck. Like Grandma in the Whataburger thing, or was it? Or not Whataburger. I've fallen and I can't get up. That's how it's going to end up for y'all. Telling you. I ain't got to lie, ain't got to lie. Then I pushed it up. And then down. And down. Okay, last one. You go ahead and get it prepared so I know. Alright, here we go. trust me, you're gonna wanna do these corners. If you don't do the corners, it's a hot mess. It really is. It's just so much easier to cut the corners. Okay, so I have it opened up. Ooh, hold on. I push it down a little bit. Make sure it's down in there. And I'm rubbing it in. And voila! So pretty. Look, I love it. I'm sorry, I'm a dork. Okay, anyway, so now you have your inside cover ready. So, the only other thing is that we gotta think about, what paper I'm gonna use. Now, I'm just gonna say that for mine, like say I could do this, I'm gonna use a full sheet like this, okay? And so I knew that. I wanted to be able to use up my full inside of this. You can, however, if you like, you have stickers. So you could outline it where it's like ho ho ho, or I'm sorry, you could do this little thing right here, the little red. This would be pretty. Or you could use your own ribbon. I mean, however you want to do it, just to kind of give it some sort of, you know, I don't know, bling to it, I guess. You can also do a buckle here. I haven't really like put a whole lot of thought into that yet, so which I probably should have already. But like if you were going to use magnets, you would have had to have put your magnets in already. But it pretty much does lie flat by itself. But I may do kind of like a little flip or something like that right here. But since I don't know exactly yet, I can't decide. Or in my chipboard, let me see. Where's my chipboard at? So, I know, right? We're all gonna do this together. That's what I'm saying. I'm involving y'all in this. You are in on this with me. I don't know. I could do it like this. This has 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, and you could, you know, put it on some chipboard and then have it where it, you know, the chipboard holds it. But I'm thinking, no, I don't know yet. But I was thinking either this color. Let's see what we got here. What looks the prettiest? That one's okay. Looks a little busy. Not so much. I don't know. What do y'all think? I'm thinking no. Let me turn it this way so you can kind of see. No, I'm just not feeling that either. And I know you're thinking, why don't I use a stripe? I'm going to tell you because I think it looks cray-cray. But that's not so bad. What do you think about the snowflakes? Kind of like the snowflakes. Okay. Okay, so we have possibility 1 and 2. Green stripes and snowflakes. Now, that looks pretty to me, but a little weird. Let me see. I'm just not so, no, I'm not into that. So, see what the bummer is that if I use this, then I lose out on a page of tags. I hate that. Listen, Graphic45, you need to just have a page of just tags, okay? Okay, definitely, that is way too much going on. Too many words. What about that one? What do you think? Still too much going on with the stripes and the lines? Possibly. What do you think about that one? That one's not so bad. But then again, I'm losing tags. Okay, guys, so it's looking like it's going to be this one. What do y'all think? I hope you like it. Okay, I'm just gonna stick with that. Stick with that, and that's my story and I'm sticking to it. So, well, wait a second. Did I see a snowflake? I kind of like a snowflake. Let me see this. Oh my goodness, I don't know. Snowflakes or this? Snowflakes or this? I'm saying the stripes down. Sorry. Okay. So, now that I know that's what that's going to be, I'm going to put this to the side. So I know later on that this goes with this. And that I won't use that sheet. So now I'm going to start working on my inside pages. And what I do know already is that all my pages are going to be in this direction. So it's always going to be this tab side out to the right. So, and I know that my inside page is going to be green. So we want to have something that's going to coordinate with that. So this might be that time where you like want to use the hollies. Or I kind of like this one too. I like this. That looks real pretty. Could be this. I don't know. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and ponder on these and then I will get back to you so I'm not taking up like 500 hours of your time. So let me do that and I'll be back. Thanks guys. Bye. Hi y'all. So I'm back and I kind of went a little ahead of myself, but I just want to make sure I knew exactly what I wanted to do before I showed you. Okay, so what I did remember this is going to be the inside page and we already made the book. So I kind of didn't think about this right off the bat and I'm going to show you this right now. I was going to use a belly band and I changed my mind because I didn't want to cover up the pattern. So I added one of these recollection buttons, I think they are, and I will have to cover, well, I covered it up with this little sticker, but of course the sticker's not staying, so I'm gonna have to hot glue gun that down. But that's kind of how I did it instead of having to redo the page. So I think it looks really cute. So I kind of like made a hole in the center of this, which I believe that was 3.5. So let me write that down before I forget. And then I made a hole. I just kind of guesstimated where I wanted my book centered. I mean, I did center it like this wise, you know, and this way. But so I don't really know how many inches this is. I guess I could check real quick. Let me see. It's about, I don't know. Let me see. Sorry. Probably about 1/2 inch or that from here. So, or it's probably a little more than that. Who am I to say? Okay, so I basically punched a hole. I'll tell you how I did it. So with this, I went as far back as this could go. So on the inch side. And then I put a hole in here. I took an eyelet and I decided that I wanted the eyelet, of course, to match this. And so I used a bronze looking one, and then of course with the bronze button, and then I used a black hair tie. So let me flip this over real quick. As you can see, what I did was here is I safety pinned it too, because I don't want it to move around, and eventually before I do put this page down, I will tape it down. But this right here is some ribbon that I've had for years. It's probably about 10-15 years old. I just found it when I was looking through when I was cleaning out my garage and looking through all my Christmas stuff, and I found this ribbon and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cute. Also these here too, a long time ago, I made homemade Christmas cards for everybody. And at that time, this is when, you know, Michael's and Hobby Lobby would give you way more than, you know, what they do now for this is not actually a sticker. This is, it looks like a glittered cardstock, and then it was cut to Season's Greetings. Of course, everybody has Cricuts now, pretty much, so you could do that, or you could just buy the stickers or whatever now. So that's kind of how I did that. And then I did put the tape down. I did not use glue because I'm out of my favorite glue, which is Scrap Perfect's the best glue ever. So it left me no choice. I used score tape to keep it down because I didn't want to use the Alien's tacky glue. Sometimes will show up through, it'll, you know, feed through the ribbon and you can see the stain or whatever, and that would make me crazy. So, but I did use the tacky glue to put on the Season's Greetings. But of course, you know, normally I would use my best glue ever. So I'm really excited about that. So now I'm going to put this to the side because we know that this is the inside of the very first page. So this is page 1. And then now we're going to come over here to this one. So I decided, and I like how I'm kind of like doing this because I'm trying to keep it pretty simple for everybody to follow along with and for me. I decided that I was going to use this one, which is 'Twas the Night, I'm sorry, this is Jolly Old Elf. So I'm going to pull this out. I know, right? I'm like the worst at pulling these out. I'm going to cut it. Well, I'm going to score it and then cut it because I don't want this little tag on here. Okay, so before that I'm going to score it first. So I make sure to line up the line with the line on here. So, here. Okay, then I'm going to take it down all the way to see if I'm doing it right, and I am, and swipe. That's it. Tell you what, I need a new blade. Like, I can tell you that right now. In fact, let me do that right now before I go cuckoo. I'm sorry guys, I'm gonna have y'all hold on for